in high definition, where news comes first. This is WECT News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Frances Weller. We are following a huge breaking news story in Wilmington right now. We were first to report earlier this afternoon. My co-anchor John Evans is live on the scene of an active investigation in Creekwood after a sheriff's deputy was shot. John, there was a news conference just about 20 minutes ago. What's the latest on that?
Well, Fran, Sheriff Ed McMahon came in front of reporters, as you mentioned, less than a half an hour ago and gave us an update on the situation. What he said was the detective that was shot here in the Creekwood community earlier today, Michael Spencer, is in surgery at this hour. He called the injuries not life-threatening, but life-changing. Those were the words that the sheriff used. And the sheriff continued to emphasize a point it seemed like he wanted to get across, that what he and other law enforcement agencies are doing right now after this shooting happened is trying to do their best to make sure that this Creekwood area is safe.
We are going to clean up the areas, and whatever that takes is what we're going to be committed to doing. We're going to make this a safer area.
Okay, and let's just set the scene for you once again. Wilmington's Creekwood community. We are near the intersection of 30th and Clayton, and this is a live investigation at this hour. Several agencies still on the scene. You're looking at video from earlier today after a shooting happened when members of the gang task force stopped a car they called suspicious. One of the suspects inside that car fired, hitting Detective Michael Spencer. That suspect has taken off. Now, we can update you and tell you that the suspect that was in custody earlier today, investigators have now determined that he was just the driver of the car. He has been released, and new details we can tell you: the man they are looking for in this investigation is considered the shooter. The man in custody earlier today has been released. The man they're looking for is the shooter. Again, Detective Michael Spencer, the one injured by the bullet earlier today. Several agencies, including the ATF, SBI, FBI, on the scene collecting evidence here. After getting a tip, one law enforcement agency, the Highway Patrol, went to another area, Lennon Woods, searched an apartment there, did not find any suspects at that community. And now most of the attention has been focused here in Creekwood inside the last 3 hours or so. Along with all the law enforcement on scene, Wilmington Housing Authority has been out here trying their best to stay in control of the situation. WECT's Bailey Hicks, one of the first here after the shooting happened, actually talked to the members of the Housing Authority board. They seem very concerned as well.
Absolutely, John. I mean, their number one priority is keeping these residents safe and also working with these residents. I remember, you know, a lot of kids were coming off the school buses when all of this was taking place. So, of course, the chairman of the Housing Authority Board here working with the schools, trying to get those kids home as safe as possible. I believe we do have some video from earlier so we can show you just how many people were here. Again, the chairman here all day with all of them. Of course, the shooting comes just after members of the Housing Authority Board were talking about safety in this very neighborhood. Now, when I spoke to the chairman today, he says he believes it's a smaller group of people that is responsible for these violent problems. He also says they have been in the process of putting a lot of newer policies in place, and says it's very frustrating when something like this happens, when so many of their board members are trying to make things safer.
Anyone that could do any of this, I have no time for that kind of person. I mean, it is frustrating. There's too many good people that are being affected by this.
And of course, the chairman also told me today some of the other things they're working on, which include better lighting. They're also going to be asking for actually the deed of these roads so they can control who trespasses onto them. And I'm also told that they have reached out to school officials, and counselors will be in school tomorrow to talk to a lot of these kids who, as we said earlier, came off the bus to a crime scene. I mean, there's crime tape up in their house. You can see they're outside. They're playing around right now as all of this is still going on, a very active investigation.
And I know you've been here all day, Bailey, and as we got here, this happened. Law enforcement literally escorted the buses back in here in the Creekwood community after the shooting happened. And since those kind of things happened, and since the search for evidence began, they have roped off and put off crime scene tape about 10, 12 homes around here, and that means that those residents who live there have not been able to return to their homes. WECT's Alex Giles was talking to the residents as the students came home, and you also talked to those who really couldn't go home.
Absolutely, John. Residents are having a very hard time getting back into the community. They've still got the area taped off, as you mentioned, and it's about, looks like 15 to 20 units that are still quarantined in that area that's taped off. So residents having a very hard time getting into that area, can't get to their families, just generally frustration all around. I talked with one resident who displayed that earlier today.
I think it's ridiculous. People have to work, check their vehicles if you have to for them to get out. It's very ridiculous. Somebody might need to go to the hospital, the water broke, you know, just anything. And y'all willing to hold and shut things down from us because one of your men got shot? That's not fair.
As you just heard her say, very hard to get in and out of the neighborhood. One of their main concerns, not letting people leave the neighborhood unless they're on foot. Very hard to drive out of here, John. And
I said at this hour, those who can't go home have been told that they can go to the community center, correct?
Absolutely. Families can go to the community center if their house is located inside this taped off area.
Okay, that's the latest from here in Creekwood. Again, a live crime scene. One detective with the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office, Detective Michael Spencer, in surgery at this hour, recovering from his injuries. The sheriff is still here at the location. They are still collecting evidence from in and around where the shooting happened. We will bring you any new details as they happen here in Creekwood. We'll have them for you on the air and, of course, on WECT.com. We're live in Wilmington. John Evans, WECT News.
Thanks, John. We'll check back in with John throughout the newscast and give you the latest on the detective shooting. But you can always visit our website, WECT.com, for the very latest details on this story and, of course, much more.
And Fran, a first look at your forecast now, and it continues to feature cool conditions under a persistent deck of clouds through the evening. Clouds going to be the rule. Showers, a few of them possible, but I think they'll be the exception to what will be a dry rule this evening. Shower chance for any one given location in southeastern North Carolina, about 20% through the evening. Notice temperatures trending slowly down from the low 60s in the near term to the upper 50s as a rule late this evening. Currently a 61 for Wilmington, 63 for Elizabethtown with a northwest wind at 6 miles an hour there. A slightly stronger 12-mile-an-hour wind at latest observation from the northwest at Wilmington. So clouds persistent in our skies today, Fran. A slow clearing process as part of your 7-day forecast coming up. Actually, we'll toss to break right now. Thanks for staying with us through the break.
You're watching WECT News at 6.
We have new details on a former Wilmington firefighter accused of rape. Robert Hester has been reinstated to the Wilmington Fire Department. He was terminated after violating the city's attendance policy. Hester was arrested in Virginia in March for an alleged rape in August. He was found not guilty on 2 of the 3 charges. The 3rd charge resulted in a mistrial. The Wilmington Fire Department had a hearing and voted to reinstate Hester with no back pay. Continuing coverage now on a home invasion in Chadbourne. Police are now offering a reward. Police are offering a $500 reward to anyone with information leading to an arrest. Police say around 10 Tuesday night, Roscoe Bellamy was inside his home on North Wilson Street when a man wearing a mask and carrying a gun broke in. Police say the two started wrestling and Bellamy was shot. Officials say he is in stable condition tonight. Now, if you know anything about this incident, call Chadbourne Police right away. It's day 10 of the shutdown, and the effects are being felt here. After the break, we'll tell you about what one organization is doing to help out.
And as long as this storm continues to swirl near the North Carolina and Virginia coast, we'll stay stuck in the clouds. I'll talk about increasing sunshine prospects in the 7-day forecast coming up.
This is Chief Meteorologist Gannon Medwick with your first alert weather.
Occasionally we've seen a few beachgoers on a Wrightsville beach cam with windbreakers through the day today, but it's an empty beach under slate gray skies right now. As we head into this evening, we're still stuck in the clouds as a low pressure system that's been affecting the Carolinas all week with clouds and showers continues to spin. The system centered over the Albemarle Sound. There's actually a high pressure system off to the north and east of this low, and that's preventing the system from making a quick exit. So over the next few days, we're going to likely stay stuck in this mostly cloudy sky pattern. Perhaps a little bit more sunshine working into the fold as we get into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but it's going to be a slow process. Clouds will likely remain dominant for a while. So we'll headline them into tonight. Cloudy and cool, your first forecast headline. From the clouds, occasional spits of mist and drizzle or a light rain shower. It's a possibility. Rain chances going into tonight about 20 to 30% though, so not terribly high. Winds going to be northwest 5 to 15 miles an hour tonight and likely tomorrow as well, with temperatures getting going from the mid and upper 50s early toward the 70-degree mark for tomorrow afternoon. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially if we fail to get any sunshine whatsoever tomorrow, that temperatures stay stuck in the 60s with the potential for a sun break or two, even a quick and fleeting one. Temperatures may want to make their way up towards 70, but overall it's a cool flavor for tomorrow as our low continues to spin east of the Virginia Capes in the North Carolina Outer Banks. That sends us the clouds and the cool breezes. Notice though, as I stop the model Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock specifically, notice a few little holes here. There's a little more Swiss cheese type of pattern in the cloud deck for Saturday afternoon. So that's the model's way of telling us that our atmosphere will start to dry out a little bit as we get toward this weekend. So a little better opportunity for some sun breaks for Saturday, even more so for Sunday and into early next week. But again, a very slow process overall. Hurricane season 2013 has featured 2 hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. The rest tropical storms, most recently Karen. Do we have Lorenzo in its formative stages? The answer in the western Atlantic Basin, including the Caribbean Sea, is no. Just a few scattered disorganized thunderstorms in our part of the world right now. But in the eastern Atlantic, actually a lot closer to Africa than North America, persistent thunderstorms are showing some signs of organization over the open water. So the National Hurricane Center says with that feature, about a 50-50 shot over the next 24 hours of that system being able to organize into a tropical depression and tropical storm. No threat to North America, but worth a mention. Upper 60s to near 70 tomorrow, cool under clouds, slight chance of a passing shower. We'll continue with that slight chance for the weekend with clouds, but maybe a little bit of a better chance of some sunshine trying to mix in with the clouds for Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Don't want to promise too much sunshine too quick, because again, this is a very, very slow process. By the middle of next week, early to middle parts, more sunshine, upper 70s make a comeback. So if you like it a little warmer, we'll eventually get there.
Well, and the cooler temperatures are okay. It's that breeze that comes along, especially when it's raining, that makes it like bone chilling.
That's correct. You don't layer up. It can kind of cut through you, and we'll still have that cool flavor into tonight with those temperatures down in the mid and upper 50s for lows. Northwest winds about 5 to 15 miles an hour. So whatever you wore to stay comfortable today, probably take that into tonight as well.
All right. Thanks so much, Gannon. Well, the shutdown is still making an impact locally. WECT's Casey Cunningham talked to one local nonprofit who is helping one group of government workers get through this tough time. How so, Casey?
That's right, Fran. Well, the United Way of the Cape Fear is stepping in to help the AmeriCorps Vista program employees. AmeriCorps Vista are volunteers in service to America. These individuals get placed around the country to help impoverished communities. They live on an extremely low salary and sacrifice their time to help the community. Because the program is government funded, some of these individuals aren't getting a paycheck. That's where the United Way comes in. They'll be stepping in and supplementing the program with a loan. Now, Chris Nelson is the president of the United Way. He says they're happy they're in a position to fund the program because it benefits everyone.
It's benefiting them as individuals, it's benefiting the organizations they're assigned to, and it's benefiting all of the people those organizations are serving. So the entire community is benefiting, which is what we're all about.
Now, right now, the United Way of the Cape Fear area actually is in the process of researching other nonprofits in our area. And those are the ones that are in need of help during the government shutdown. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Casey Cunningham, WECT News.
Thanks so much, Casey. And we are continuing our live coverage from Creekwood, where a detective was shot around lunchtime today. That forced schools to go into lockdown. Residents in Creekwood are being told to go to a community center there nearby before they enter into the neighborhood. We are live on the scene. We'll have more when this newscast continues.
This is John Smith with your WECT Sports.
Well, when North Brunswick Jabril Robinson steps on the football field, he gets noticed. At 6'3", 265 pounds, Robinson is the 81st nationally ranked defensive tackle. Well, this afternoon, Robinson selected to play in the 2013 Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. Robinson is already verbally committed to attend and play football at Clemson next season. Defensive tackle has anchored the Scorpions defense, helped lead the team to a 5-1 start this season. Joining Robinson on the North Carolina squad is West Columbus head coach Mark Little, who was selected to serve as an assistant coach. The game will be played at Gibbs Stadium at the College of at Wofford College on December 21st. Stay with high school football. And on Friday night, another big New Hanover County rivalry game as Ashley hosts New Hanover. Well, injuries have been part of football, but the Screaming Eagles dealing with their fair share. Starting running back Charles Dent out for the season. Screaming Eagles now down to their third string running back Jesse Jewell. Even with all that, team off to a 4-2 start, one of the best in school history.
They may not be, Barry Sanders or whatever, but they do a good job of stepping in there and getting the job done and being, serviceable. And we appreciate what they've done because, some of them were third on the depth chart when we started the season. So we're real pleased with what they've done.
Well, help could be on the way for the NC State football team. Quarterback Brandon Mitchell is back practicing for the Pack. Mitchell, who has missed the past 4 games with a broken bone in his left foot, said there's a 50-50 chance he'll play Saturday's home game against Syracuse. Wolfpack head coach Dave Doran said this afternoon that it'll be a game-time decision if Mitchell plays. Mitchell won the quarterback job in August and has led the Wolfpack offense to a pair of scoring drives in the first 2 series of the season opener against Louisiana Tech before getting hurt in the 3rd drive. Closing things out, Sampson County Sports Club Hall of Fame will soon have a permanent home this Saturday, October 12th. The club will cut the ribbon and officially open the new Hall of Fame building. The ceremony will take place at the County History Museum Complex, 313 Lisbon Street in Clinton at 10 a.m. The hall has been open since 2003. Terry Holland, Bob Lewis, members, just to name a few. That's all the sports, but we throw it over to Gannon for one final look at our forecast.
You bet, John. Thanks. Satellite and radar telling the story of a storm system centered over the Albemarle Sound. It's got a stop sign in front of it, high pressure to its north, not allowing it to make a quick exit. So it's just sitting and swirling, producing a few showers in the Research Triangle south to Smithfield. Some of those may angle for southeastern North Carolina overnight tonight, so we'll keep a small shower chance. But the big deal is going to be the clouds and the cool temperatures, even without showers, staying kind of on a damp flavor overnight tonight and in through tomorrow with clouds. Cool breezes, temperatures starting first thing tomorrow in the mid and upper 60s, trending toward the upper 60s to around 70 for the afternoon with a better chance, a little sunshine fighting through the clouds starting Saturday, Sunday, progressing into early next week. Slow clearing trend equates to a slow warming trend, with those numbers given a little bit into the low and mid 70s over the weekend, eventually upper 70s for the middle parts of next week.
Nice to see that it's going to warm back up because it's gotten pretty cool.
Warmer temperatures and sunshine when we ultimately do get it going hand in hand is a nice trend.
John Smith is from Maine, though. He likes the cool temperatures, don't you?
It feels like football weather. It's we're going into week 8 and finally it feels like fall. My type of fall, not this 70s and high 80s.
It's still hot to you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back out now to Creekwood for the latest on the developing story we have been covering all afternoon, where a detective was shot there earlier today. John Evans has been covering the latest. John, what is the latest?
Well, Fran, we are starting to see some of the law enforcement officers actually leaving the scene here. We do have a good bunch of them still here, but as you see over my right shoulder where they are still collecting evidence in parts here of Creekwood, crime scene tape is still up. We are near the intersection of 30th and Clayton Streets here in the city. But we have seen several New Hanover County Sheriff's deputies, the motorcycle units leaving. To recap, just after noon today, 2 members of the Sheriff's Department gang unit following a suspicious vehicle pulled in here to Creekwood. One of the suspects in that vehicle opened fire, hitting a Detective Michael Spencer with the Sheriff's Office. One of the suspects was taken into custody, a second still on the run. Detective Spencer has been in surgery. We are hearing that his injuries are not life-threatening but life-changing. Those were the words used by Sheriff Ed McMahon. Since that time, we have learned that the suspect in custody has been released, determined to be just the driver of the vehicle. The suspect at large, the one the sheriff's office and all the other law enforcement agencies are looking for, is said to be the shooter in this incident. Members of the Creekwood community, the residents who are inside the cordoned off area there, about a dozen homes or so, they still can't get back in their homes. So they have been told they can go to the community center near the entrance to Creekwood. No one is allowed to drive out of Creekwood tonight. If they leave, they have to leave on foot. But the investigation continues. We will continue to update you on the air and on WECT.com. We're live in Creekwood. I'm John Evans, WECT News. Fran?
All right. Thanks so much, John. And of course, we will continue to cover the latest developments out in Creekwood. We'll keep you updated on the condition of the detective. As Sheriff McMahon said, his injuries are not life-threatening, but life-changing. We'll have more as those details develop. All right. Any last word on weather?
Just continued cloudy and cool this evening. Again, keeping an eye on a couple of showers north of Bladen County, currently in the Smithfield and Raleigh area. They're dropping south, so a few of us could pick up some light rain action, but again, mostly just clouds and cool temperatures going into this evening. Jacket weather for sure.
Yes, indeed. Bundle up and keep the umbrella nearby. Thanks a lot for watching. We certainly hope you'll join us back here at 11 o'clock for the latest developments on that shooting in Creekwood.